Hi, hello, dear astrology lovers and gene key lovers. Today I'm going to discuss about the gene key that is active in my profile, the gene key number 24. It is activating my IQ, or for astrology lovers, my Venus, and it is a gene key that made a lot of sense for me when I started reading it. So let's dive in it and let's explore a bit what it is all about. I know it is my first video about gene keys. I won't enter so much into the subject right now. There will be some other videos talking about what gene keys is, how you can work with the genes, and so on. But I really wanted to share shortly about how I worked with my gene key here and what the story for about 24 was in my life. So the 24 is about the road from addiction to invention and silence, and it is a gene key that it's also studied in human design because most gene keys were integrated and developed from the human design system and human design from astrology. So it's like rebranding of systems. So the 24 is gene key or a gate that's active in the ajna center, so in the mind. And that tells a lot about the source of addictions. And I personally see it as an addiction to all kind of activities that keep your mind from experiencing that silence, that break, that nothingness where invention comes from. I'm fascinated by Vedic astrology, even if I work both with the Vedic and the European system. And in the Vedic, they use something called nakshatras, lunar mansions, and the moon is very important in Vedic system, but also the sun and the other planets are placed in this type of nakshatras. And the nakshatra that is active right now, because now the sun is still in this key or gate, 24, this nakshatra is named Bharani. And Bharani has a very nice story that for me makes sense when discussing about the 24 and about addictions. 24 is a lot about the energy of creation and also about the energy of endings. And it has this extreme spectrum from the ending to the beginning and from the beginning to the end. And it is a lot about bringing the new, and you bring the new after you integrated an experience and after you let yourself be consumed by that experience. People that are born with this strong Bharani energy are people of the extremes, and they are said to be true pioneers, and pioneers that like to experience life to the fullest. So maybe one of the connections with the 24 and these extremes is also through addictions, and many times people that have the 24 had or have some sort of addiction, and these addictions can be very tricky because not all addictions mean addiction to alcohol or addiction to food or to sleep, or I don't know, all sorts of addictions. Sometimes addiction can be, as in it's in my case, addiction to information or addiction to knowing, and it works in such subtle ways for each of the person I met with this gene key. And I invite you to dig deep and see which is the addiction you have in case you have this gene key, and start to see where you are experiencing this need for activity in your mind, or this need for avoiding silence. At the gift level and then at the CD level, this gene key is a lot about invention and about creating that new stuff from nothingness. And as I said, the addiction keeps you from experiencing that space of uncreated reality. And many times it is maybe fear of the future, or maybe we try to understand the future. As in my case, I have this gene key in an open ajna center, and many times it is about trying to understand the future. And this led to addiction for information, because it was always trying to understand. But every shadow also helps us develop the gifts. So creativity and invention comes when you know a lot and when you can have time to stop and just listen, and listen to that silence that is inside you. And this is a very beautiful key. People that have it have an inner deep patience and have a very strong way of dealing with reality, because the partnership programming of this gene key is the 44 gene key that is in the spleen center. I already wrote an article about it. You can go and explore more about it there if you want to get more information. And the spleen center is a lot about being connected to the body and the instinctual part. So I guess it's being lucky to have both sides of the mind and the body, and see that when the mind becomes silent, we can connect more to our intuition and to that gut feelings. And the channel, because it also has a channel, all gates in human design make channels. The channel of inspiration is here, bridging the 24 with the 61 gene key or gate, and you can imagine what innovation and inspiration have in common, and why they are bridged together. So try to see how this works for you. This was my short view on it, and I would like to know more about your journey and how this gene key played out in your life. Thank you for listening, and meet you soon.